Annual Plan Commission meeting of Monday, July 17th, 2023. Please rise, start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Secretary, please take roll.
Sharon Walker.
Present.
Jim Hurst.
Present online.
So
Okay, great. Dave Franz.
present.
Mary Grabanowski.
Present.
Chris Lake.
Present.
Cindy Madrick.
Present.
Larry Jones. Present.
All members are here. In your packet, there's a set of minutes from the June meeting. Is there any comments, additions, deletions to those minutes?
I move we approve them.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. Minutes are approved. On the docket tonight, we've got a continuance request for docket number 2023-27Z, National Retail Development LLC Atwater rezoning 7250 West Oak Street, petition for rezoning of 10 plus minus acres from the Rural Professional District PB, Rural Single and Two Family Residential R2 and Rural Single and Two Family R3 districts to the Rural General Business GB District. Someone, Roger, are you handling that, or is the petitioner present? Or Matt, or it's, yes, okay.
Yes, Mr. President, Matt Price, for the record, on behalf of petitioner, here tonight to request a continuance. We alluded to it briefly in the letter, but we only were able to meet with the neighbors recently, last week, brought up several very good points that we're working into our plans and need to address also with staff. We also were copied on a letter from the board of directors from the Stonegate Homeowners Association, and in the process of scheduling a meeting with them, would benefit from additional time and dialogue with both those organizations.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions related to that? If not, is there a motion to continue this to the August 21st meeting?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. That item is carried over to next month. Docket number 2023-28Z. Hankey Development Bradley Ridge PUD rezoning. Parcels addressed as 1120, 1310, 1550 South US Highway 421, 1555 South, 950 East, and 9625 East 100 South. Petition for the rezoning of 349 plus minus acres from the rural general agricultural single family residential R1 and rural single and two family residential R2 districts and within the pure rural Michigan road overlay to the planned unit development PUD district. You're also representing them, Matt. So we've got a valid continuance request. But at the same time, we have to, unless you agree to, we have to open up the hearing within 60 days of the petition. So I would like to hear what you have to say related to that.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the record, once again, Matt Price on behalf of Hankey Development Group. The staff report also indicated a recommendation for a continuance tonight. What I believe we've done in some similar prior situations is have the opportunity for the petitioner to make an overview of the petition, allow the public some limited time to comment, with the idea being that the matter would be continued for a full hearing at the next meeting, or when the Plan Commission determined was appropriate, as a way of discharging, both honoring both the request for the continuance and the statutory prerequisite. And also, since everybody's here, it seems like it might be a good opportunity to at least advance the matter
I think that if anybody saw the online posting of the agenda, they might have seen that there was a continuance request, and if they didn't show up by, even if we open it up, still give them an opportunity next month to have comment and questions at that time. All right, so at this point, we'll go ahead and open it up. Matt, if you'd like to proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. McKnight will pull up my PowerPoint. Very pleased tonight to present the Hinkie Development Group and their lifestyle community we're calling Bradley Ridge. We first introduced the development team, which is here with me this evening from Hinkie Development Group. I have Mr. Steve Hinkie. To his right, Brad Hinkie, and then to Brad Hinkie's right, Doug Fleener. And just so I don't miss her, is Betsy here? Betsy's not, okay. Betsy Garfield, also part of the development team, not here this evening, but a familiar face to Plan Commission, very, very influential member of the team with a great deal of input into this project. Like to give just a brief overview, if you could go to the next slide, kind of orient the Plan Commission to the property and describe a little bit about what the thinking is behind this proposal. This is an assemblage of properties that are west of US 421, south of County Road 100 South, and north of County Road 200 South, east of County Road 950. It's a very critical piece of property in the community for a number of reasons, which we'll detail as we go through the proposal tonight. But again, this is a master planned lifestyle community that we've divided into three major use blocks, which I'll describe. One is the residential and lifestyle use block, which is the use block that's for single family housing. And that comprises the dark shaded area that you see both west of Eagle Creek and east of Eagle Creek. Eagle Creek essentially bisects the property right down the center. Our proposal is for the area west of Eagle Creek to have no more than 75 single family homes. 74 single family homes. That area is zoned R1 today. The R1 minimum lot size for a home on public utilities is 1 acre. So we would have essentially 1/2 of the total number of permitted homes that would be otherwise permitted under the underlying zoning district for the R1. On the east side of the development would be the remaining number of single family homes that you see in the dark shaded areas with the lakes and water features that are throughout the development. Up in the kind of northeast section of the project, where you see the US 421 sign, we have the second use block, which is the townhouse use block. We're proposing to have no more than 60 townhouses at that location. Talk a little bit about why we feel like that's the appropriate spot. One is that it is immediately adjacent to where we see the community house going, and kind of that green area that is south of the two lakes, and feel like that's an appropriate orientation for that land use at that particular location. And then the third major area, and this is really the key component of the entire project, is the incorporation of what we're calling the community amenity and nature preservation use block. And those are the green areas that you see through the center of the project, and then otherwise where the community house will be located. The idea is to create an environment where the call, if you will, to come to this community is the love of nature and the opportunity to experience the outdoors with camping, hiking, fishing, things that would draw people to an individual private park that's over 60 acres in size. And we've interspersed a trail system that you see in the orange, where individuals can hike throughout the development, enjoy the outdoors as a major calling card for the project. You go to the next slide. One of the items in the staff report, there's a discussion about the strategic trails plan. And the strategic trails plan is a comprehensive document that contemplates a network of trails throughout the community, and it does a combination of things. One aspect of it is to provide for trails in greenways. The Eagle Creek area across this property is such an identified greenway. That's an area that we want to reserve for a private park and really protect from development. A key feature of the project will be the ability to have children and grandchildren of homeowners be able to roam the natural areas in a private and secure setting. That we believe is a key drawing card to the project. But another key aspect of the strategic trails plan is to provide connections between destinations in the community. And you'll see at the very top portion of this excerpt from the strategic trails plan, there is a north-south connection point that's identified that substantially tracks the path of County Road 950. On the drawing, it's a little bit west of County Road 950, but it shows a connection between destination points nominally following that north-south pathway. We think this project presents a really wonderful opportunity to provide a substantial over a mile connection between this project and the Carpenter Nature Preserve to the north. The Carpenter Nature Preserve, obviously a destination that is a new item to Zionsville. It's something that was not really contemplated at the time the strategic trails plan was put together, but will be a very important destination in our community. And this project would provide that a big part of that linkage to the Carpenter Nature Preserve through a trail that could be extended along County Road 950. And we've had some initial discussions with the town about that and look forward to continuing dialogue. If you go to the next slide, I mentioned why I felt this project was a key property to Zionsville, broadly speaking. And part of that is because of the land area involved. It is an assemblage of 350 acres. You'll see that this is an excerpt from the proposed future land use plan that came out of the latest airport study. So this property is the area you see 950 going through kind of the center of the project, just beneath the light green kind of east-west corridor there. It's immediately west of the campus housing mixed use area, which contemplates multifamily development in the future, some limited commercial activity also in that area. It is identified in this land use map as being for estate and conservation residential, meaning that it is identified as an area for future residential development. The conservation residential discussion in the comprehensive plan talks about the potential to shrink lot sizes and preserve greater natural features in this area. The area generally bounded as south of 32 and west of 421. And we think this project does an excellent job of exactly that. It does provide for a variety of lot sizes, smaller than those, for example, required by the R1, but it also provides for a great deal of open areas and preservation of natural features, not the least of which is the contemplated park and corridor along Eagle Creek. So very much consistent with the latest iteration of future land uses for this vicinity. Go to the next slide. Again, this will be a very nice development in keeping with Hinkey's projects, both in Westfield and in Zionsville, Holiday Farms and Promontory. I think a townhome, for example, will be in the $800,000 to $850,000 range, with homes from $1 million to over $3 million throughout the project. We estimate that the total assessed valuation of the project at full build out would be over $700 million. So it's a very substantial project and a very much in keeping with the high standards of the Hinkie Development Group. These are representations of single family homes. Go to the next slide. These are some examples of what we see as being potential for the townhouse section. And then if you go to the next slide, we have several representations of the themes and decor that we seek to achieve with regard to the community amenity and nature preservation area. We've borrowed kind of architectural themes and design from the Napa region, for example. If you go to the next slide, shows many of the activities that we think will be very desirable in the community amenity areas. So shows folks playing archery, potentially for a ball field internal to the project, maybe some golf practice facilities up by the community house. We also show a small cabin there. We anticipate that we'll have a small cabin where you could potentially grab a cup of coffee, get an ice cream sandwich, have some amenities like that, where the patron of the cabin pays nothing for those snacks and amenities. That's just something that's paid for through their HOA as part of their membership in the community. Go to the next slide. Pickleball, of course, very popular. Anticipate that, and obviously a number of other outdoor pursuits, including a camping ground. We think that camping will be something that residents would like to do as well, and not be in nature, but in nature that's literally right outside their back door. You go to the next slide. That brings us back to the use plan. We've worked very hard on this proposal. We do have some outstanding matters that are in various stages of discussion with the town that are noted in the staff report. One is a traffic study. We've commissioned a traffic study. We're awaiting the results of that. That's something that we'll vet with the town once it becomes available. We also do have a small portion of the project that you saw in the future land use map that is underneath what's been delineated in the airport study as the tier 1 zone, which states that residential development beneath that zone is to be prohibited. What we've done is to propose no more homes in that area than would otherwise be permitted under the underlying zoning. That's the way we've sought to comply with that comprehensive plan recommendation. It's extremely valuable real estate, some of the most valuable real estate in Boone County, and something that we understand the town would like to have more dialogue about this particular topic, and we look forward to that discussion as a way of achieving the right balance for the community in this proposal. We appreciate your time this evening. We'd be welcome to answer any questions that you have, and look forward to feedback from the community.
So Roger, old habits die hard. Would you, before we ask any comments from the questions from the public, would you like to give staff reports, Roger?
I do have a staff report prepared to present, given the ultimate decision that I anticipate from the planning commission tonight. Do you want me to go ahead and go through?
Well, I mean, do you have anything that you'd want to add to that you think he might have not missed, but the town has some concerns or comments regarding?
Mr. Price touched on a majority of the items that I would have presented.
Okay.
Touched on the comprehensive plan situations, and we did that substantially within the staff report. We do also note the outstanding items that are still needed to be reviewed, such as the traffic impact study. But we really don't have anything at this stage of substance to add that he has not already touched upon.
All right, at this point in time, I'll ask any members of the public if they'd like to have any, if they have comments, questions, to please come up, state your name, residence. Yep. And then we're gonna have public comment. I think, Matt, at this point in time, we're not gonna respond. We'll take notes and then we'll kind of refresh the meeting next month and kind of take it from there.
Lynn Jenkins, what else did you want to know?
Address.
1730 South 950 East. I am one of the adjacent properties. And my only request is 30 days is not nearly sufficient. I only got notified with a certified letter less than a week ago. And that gave me 7 days to be shocked into this. I would like to see at least a 60 to 90 day continuance so we can contact and organize. Obviously, there are many of
Well,
us.
it's as you heard today, it's going to get continued next month at least.
Well,
So-
that's only 30 days. We need more,
We have
please.
we have to follow the process, so thanks.
Can it be requested again then next time?
We'll deal with it next month.
We do have some people who are not here because they saw the
I understand, we understand. There'll be the public hearing will continue next month. I can't commit to anything that we would act or do next month. So just come up.
I am. Janice Agarwal, you know me from Watch's Farm here in Zionsville. We own that property in that little square, and it's a beautiful development. It's a beautiful development. I want to address something that's not being addressed in this town. That we have roughly 1,000 kids in our school systems that are special needs. We attempted to buy the property around that, and there's no way we're going to compete against a developer. And then we tried to buy Wolf Run, and our town found out, and they were more interested in a park than the kids with special needs. We were working with Connor Prairie to make it something beautiful, but we were told the park is more important. Shortly thereafter, you guys okayed a dog. It was a kick in the gut. There are a lot of families in this town. This is a very wealthy town. This is a town that could make a community, cut out a part of some development that we can make beautiful, that can address the fact that everyone that moves in here, 1 of 5, will potentially have someone with special needs. I'm working with Holiday Farms people right now. They're either trying to get their houses, the new houses that they're building, either to accommodate special needs, or they've come in with people that have adults with special needs. The developer that does it and the town planners that okay it to make something so beautiful. You know, we moved here from Boston and New York. There, I was part of the early intervention developmental teams. They have places so that when a family has a child with special needs, there's hope. They know that they're going to have jobs and housing and a community. Indiana, we are lucky we have Mississippi because we are in the bottom 5 of places that are friendly towards anybody with special needs. That's an insult. We stayed here 23 years ago, deciding that because Indiana is so bad, that it was a blank slate. It was an opportunity for all of us to work, to create something so we could be a model for the state of Indiana. That if Zionsville could do something beautiful, we could take that model and everybody else is going to want it. Because can I tell you how many places go, what can we do? We don't know what to do. We want to do something. We just don't know what to do. So here's what I'm asking. Beautiful development. What I'm asking is that this town and developers and people start thinking about what are we going to do with 1,000 kids in the school system right now? What are we going to do with the how many we don't know that are not in the school system, that are sitting in their parents' houses and their parents are afraid to die because the state of Indiana doesn't help you until you're 80 or dead. That's an insult if our community, as affluent as it is, because my husband and I, we only have so much money. And when we get the money, someone's always going to outbid us. But I will tell you, if you build it, they will come. We can build something so beautiful that it will be something that other people want to model. But the other thing is you got corporations, we're talking to Leap, we're talking to Lilly, we're talking to all these big corporations who say, we'll help fund it. It would be nonprofit. So we're not taking tax dollars like the places that we're losing. Not you guys. But we're taking our tax dollars, we're forcing our taxes to go to a park, but we're not addressing at all individuals in this community that need it. Those parents need us to think about that. And quite honestly, I have not seen very much come from this organization. So I'm kind of talking to you. We need to start thinking about that. You're the planners. You're the planners. And what have you done for the adults with special needs? You might get some individual housing. I know ILAD is doing a little bit, but that's independent housing. How about the 90% of kids that need a safety net? This is something that's done all around the world,
So we can
except for
only deal
here.
with what comes before us. So, I mean, if you want to have a conversation with town council or something along that line, see if there's any motion on there, but we only deal with what comes before us.
I know, and I want to educate you,
But that's fine, but this is not what this is not what this meeting is about tonight.
but as we all learn, did you know it was a big problem?
I'm sure that, I mean, I have friends who have special needs children.
Right, my
yes,
point,
and they're
I'm not,
24 years old.
I'm trying to say that as a community,
I
we need
appreciate
to see
that.
the problem
I
to
understand.
address the problem.
I understand, but this is.
So,
not
I
right
live there. I
forum
bought
for
next
this.
to a preserve. It's the
not
oldest
forum for
preserve
this
in
at this
Indiana.
point in time.
I'm just saying,
I understand. I
So-
appreciate your concerns, but there's nothing we can do about it at this point. in
and that's
time.
okay.
So
I didn't think you could. By the way, I asked a bunch of parents to try to get here tonight, and what they told me, that's okay. They don't see our kids anyways. They don't care, and nothing's going to be done, and you're going to lose.
don't, I mean.
That, no,
okay,
that's just,
that's
I'm not
fine.
trying to be
Okay.
antagonistic. I want you to see
But
what's
you very
going
much
on.
are. So
I know,
I'm gonna
because-
ask you- I'm gonna
Because
ask
I'm
you-
very kind of passionate,
I understand.
because I
but
see the
you're
hurt
fine.
families. I
You got-
see and feel
you
them, and
got
I
to
talk
move
to them,
on.
and I'm one of them.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Anybody else?
My name is, excuse me, my name is Ed Espy, and my wife Kathy and I own approximately 12 acre, 11.7 to be exact. On that upper left-hand corner right there, I stepped it off today. It's 31 feet away from this project. So we're very close to it. I don't think anybody can get much closer than that. And you know, it's going to be, something's going to go in there. And I've looked at the projects that the Hinkie Group has done at the Bridgewater and Chatham Hills and Holiday Farms. And I just don't think it gets much better than that. It's all first class. I would love to see something like this go in there because it'd be a first class thing to have. And I don't really care much about the property value of mine going up. I'm just trying to decide which room I want to die in at this point. So that's not a real concern of mine, but what is a concern and kind of a selfish thing is that I live at 9502 East 100 South, and that's the road across the top, and it's a gravel road. So I would hope that that would be paved if this happens. So that's what I would like to see happen. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else who'd like to comment? Go ahead. I mean, you both speak.
Hi, I'm Jen Pickett. I live at 9355 East 180 South. So I am one property over from 950 East. I did not get direct communication about this project. I'm assuming because I'm not off of 950 East, although I'm a hop, skip, and a jump. But the plan looks beautiful. It looks like great things going in place. I just wanted to know how it's directly going to impact our properties, those of us that live off of 180 South and 925 as our road kind of goes around there and we're not directly connected. As far as there is talk of a, sorry, I do public speaking. You think I would be okay with this, but guess when you don't have a speech written. We talked about a traffic study. And so, what's that going to look like for us? And I love walking down that country road. And I remember when I bought this house 4 years ago, a year after my late husband's passing, it was my dream house. And I said to myself, this is my country walk and I love it. And I bought a house where nothing's going to develop. So you talk about beautiful amenities and things like that. And that's just my question is, there are so many parts of Zionsville that are public and allow us to be a part of that and use those different facilities. Is this development going to allow surrounding people to use those? Or is it going to be, as it was mentioned, like free ice cream sandwiches and stuff like that? That made me start to think it was going to be a little bit more exclusive, and I'm going to be next to this beautiful place that would be wonderful for my kids and us to walk through nature and things and still enjoy that countryside. But are we going to be excluded from that because we're off the dirt road a ways away? And then the last question I have, and I apologize if I do not have good information, but I was told that a lot of that area was floodplain area. And so the question with that is just how, if that is true, how all of that is going to be addressed with drainage and things like that. And so that it's not just all coming back towards us who have beautiful established homes. And many people in my neighborhood have lived there for many years. And while I've only been there 4 years, I had intended it to be my forever home. And now I'm scared that I'm going to have to find a new forever. So thank you for letting me speak.
All right, thank you.
Hi, Robert Baker, 9150 Timberwolf Lane. So just due south of the Carpenter project. And thank you for the chance to speak. I've, from your other projects, had a generally positive view of Hankey development, so would be more inclined for benefit of the doubt than the next group. But having just learned about this a few days ago, I don't think that I'm to the point that I don't have some concerns. And specifically, I think many of us, moved to Zionsville with the option to move anywhere we wanted. There are beautiful, other beautiful suburbs in Indiana. Carmel, for example, is a remarkable suburb. But ours, in my view, is better. And it's better mostly because of the ways in which it's more rural, more natural, less dense than they are for us and for the wildlife, to which I guess at least we ought to owe something in this. So as we're doing this, the one thing that strikes me as a bit of a concern is not the plan, not the beauty of it, but the relative density. And then in particular, what it will mean for removing trees. And though I appreciate saying that there's some degree of preserve left in the floodplain, I would guess that the Eagle Creek is very important to the animals and transiting on both sides, and how much that's cleared versus how much remaining in the natural state. I would encourage you to just think about that closely as you do it. And as you do, think about how this and all the developments add up a little bit to the character of the town and what would make us want to live here over other places. Thanks so much for the chance to speak.
Now we got him over here.
Hi, I'm Eric Nelson. I have 2 lots, 9755 East 100 South and 9705 East 100 South. And we bought our property in November of 2014, and we went through the construction board, and we were told that we needed 5 acres to build our home. And my first question is, when did that change? And I'd love to know that. The second question is, I've seen this map twice now. I saw it on Friday and then today. And they've spoken in generalities about the number of houses that are going to be built. And I would love to see an overlay of where everything is going to be on this property and how it's going to affect individual people. Where the homes are going to be, where the clubhouse is going to be, where the pool is going to be, all of these things, because that could certainly impact the decision on everybody, where the parks are going to be. We moved to Zionsville to have that rural feeling. And I feel like it's being taken away for the sake of dollars in the town's pocket and the developer's pocket. And it just leaves us with a bad taste in our mouth.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Christy Wright, and I live at 9301 East 180 South. First, thank you, members of the Plan Commission, for your service to our community and for the opportunity to speak this evening. My husband and 2 young kids and I live about 100 paces from the proposed development. It's our little slice of heaven, and I'm not just referring to our 3 wooded acres. I'm referring to the entire space that we are discussing tonight. I could talk a lot about what makes this area special: the rolling hills, the scenic pastures, the rural character, the natural wonders. In fact, the sheer conservation value of this space and the ecosystem services it provides is amazing. The people and how this area exemplifies what makes Zionsville unique and distinct from the other areas in this Indianapolis space. It's a special place and it's worthy of protecting for those reasons alone, but there is more to consider. I don't envy you the challenge that you all are confronted with this petition and others that are no doubt coming to you at an accelerating pace. How to enable economic growth for Zionsville while adhering to the principles set forth in the town's comprehensive plan and amendments, while also fulfilling the town's vision to, quote unquote, maintain and enhance Zionsville as a vibrant, vital community with small town atmosphere reflecting its village heritage. To thread that needle, that takes thoughtfulness, diligence, and even at times, I'm sure, courage. But I imagine that these decisions are made easier when petitions are out of sync with the town's comprehensive plan and incongruent with Zionsville's mission. And that is the case with the Henke Bradley Ridge PUD proposal. There's not enough time tonight to enumerate the reasons to leave the zoning as it currently is, or at a minimum to vote to continue this petition or to continue to the next plan commission meeting. But just 2 cases in point. Number 1, the comprehensive plan supports the general land use principle that the intensity and density of development, specifically residential development, is reduced as it locates further from the core of town. This plan significantly increases density almost to the town's northern border. In fact, there's been intense development along 421 just in the last 1 to 3 years, starting from the farm at 421 at Sycamore to Chelsea Park at 421 in Templin, Appaloosa at 421 and 300, Holiday Farms, Hidden Pines, and this is only 421. It doesn't include the other development in Zionsville, such as Wild Air. And number 2, the Bradley Ridge Plan conflicts with the 2021 Indianapolis Executive Airport adopted plan. The airport area strategy calls for much of the land in question to be in a state conservation residential district intended to stay low density with a heavy emphasis on preservation of tree canopy and environmental resources. There are citations in the report suggesting efforts to protect tree canopy, floodplains, riparian corridors, and other environmental assets in various ways, including acquiring property for the development of public parks. This is also consistent with the comprehensive plan, which calls for preserving and protecting the natural topography and environment associated with Eagle Creek and beyond. I appreciate very much that you all are stewards for the quality of life in our town. I ask that you do that by adhering to the vision set forth in the comprehensive plan. This is an extremely important opportunity to recommit ourselves to our plan and to who we are as a town. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Good evening. Name is Jim Lafayette, address 9480 East 100 South, on the very northwest corner of the property, adjacent, next to Ed, who spoke a few minutes ago. I wish I could have been more as eloquent and polished as the previous presenter, because what I was going to say is pretty much what she said. So I could say ditto, but I think you all know history is littered with companies and governments and individuals who veer away from their core strategy, their core mission, who they are. And in the case of Zionsville, we have, as mentioned, a comprehensive plan. And I know that you'll do this, but all I would ask is that you look at the comprehensive plan and say, does this fit? Is it contrary to the comprehensive plan, or is it consistent? And I know from the staff report notes that we've seen already, I've seen the words low density. I don't know what the definition of low density is, but especially east of Eagle Creek, that doesn't look low density to me. I heard the word prohibit in the airport runway or path, if you will. I guess the word prohibit now means we'll build, but not too many. And the last comment I'd make is that I think also in the staff report, it said something about keeping this property mostly ag. So none of those to me are consistent with the comprehensive plan. So I would just ask that we make sure that we don't fall in line with other companies and entities, governments, people who veer away from who they are, and just for the latest political or financially motivated reason. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. I'm going to let these two gentlemen speak, and then we're going to stop public comment for tonight. See if there's any questions from the Plan Commission, and then we'll reconvene next month or whenever we continue to, and pick it up from there. So go ahead, please.
Sure. Michael Brockman, 9103 Mallard Pond, or in Mallard Point, lived in Mallard Pond. I just had a couple questions, I guess, for the developers, since you guys aren't answering our questions tonight. First, is there going to be utilities provided to the area, such as water? Because currently, I think everybody out where we live at is all on well water currently. So is that going to be developed out there? Because if so, there's going to be a lot of construction going on to provide that. Also city services, because right now we don't have City of Zionsville trash or anything like that. And then where's the road access going to be? Because I think that would have a big impact on everyone who lives out here. If it's only going to be on 421, it's not going to be quite as prohibitive. But if it comes over via 200 South or on the gravel road over here, just wondering what was going to happen as far as that goes. And my last question is, what sort of, I guess, financial safeguards are you guys going to have, since there was another home development at Wolf Run that closed because they couldn't make it financially? Like, what sort of safeguards would you guys have in place to make sure, since there's kind of like direct competition with the other development coming down the road at Holiday Farms, since you'd be in similar price range?
Good evening, Corey Murphy, 9434 Timberwolf Lane. Along the same lines, I have 3 quick points. One being roads. With Michigan Road today, as everybody knows, between Willow and 300, it's a travesty to drive down that road between peak business hours. I'd be really curious to hear about this report, because as of today, all that does is it extends that further north with that traffic based on where we are today. 2 schools. We went through a redistrict this past year due to the developments that are going in place. We still don't know what the population with the apartments on 300 are going to be. Pittman Farm, this potential development. I'm not interested in becoming another Carmel school district, so I'm really concerned about the overcrowding of schools.
Let him make his comments, please. I mean, this is not shouldn't be applauding. This is just comments.
Sorry, the last point, I'll be done. I know we need to move on. And the point that the gentleman made before, water and septic, there's a concern if we move that north. I don't have any interest. I know a lot of people do not as well of tying into or being forced to tie into city water and septic. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. At this point in time, before we make a motion to continue this, I'm assuming we're going to do that. Is there any comments from any members of the planning commission to the petitioners that you'd like for them to consider during the continuance?
So I do have a couple of thoughts, Mr. Price. Have you had conversations with the school system about school impact? Because I believe this would probably map to Union Elementary, and I think they're on the Fuller side. And I'm guessing that your residents probably are at least going to have on average 2 kids. Short of your townhomes.
We're not looking for answers.
Yeah, I mean,
today,
but that's going to be something I'm going to evaluate. I think the PUD needs to have maximum quantities listed for development. Roger, this is not considered leapfrog development?
Depends how you're defining leapfrog development.
Well, we define it as a city and state that we don't support it.
Where do we define that?
That was brought up in, what meeting was that brought up in? I think it was related to the comp plan. I have to go back and look at that.
I remember discussing it.
Yeah, because we had a conversation about it, didn't have utilities, and it would be not this project, a different project. Into the comment about city trash, that area, most of Zionsville doesn't have city trash, just so people know. The urban zone is very small. So there's a whole process every 2 years to extend that out a little bit further if people want to do that. I think those are my only thoughts right now.
All right. Anybody else?
And just to follow up on Chris's, I think when we had years ago discussed a housing development at Wolf Run, part and parcel of the reason we did not want to move forward with that was by extending utilities out to that area. We're opening up, the areas that in between for additional development, hence the leapfrog comment. If we're going to grow, we need to be somewhat controlled, schools, roads, sewers, as well as can we stomach what we're biting off?
I thought there was some leapfrog discussion in the airport too, but.
Yeah. And do you have other comments?
No.
I'll say one other thing that is coming up to me. So there is a development south of the airport that, at the time the petition had been made to put houses there, it was already zoned residential before the airport study came out. So we didn't have the ability to really legally do anything about that and change the zoning classification. My concern was getting utilities to that property destroyed a lot of properties along the way. I would want to see how you're getting utilities to this property. And if it's going to destroy a bunch of other people's property via eminent domain to get those utilities to that, that will definitely weigh on me personally from a decision standpoint.
Yeah, in reading the ordinance and my understanding of the Indiana statute is that a PUD ordinance cannot override a requirement of the subdivision control ordinance unless there's specific enabling legislation within the local ordinance that would allow that. So sections 1.3, 13.1 A and B both address the possibility of this zoning ordinance overriding or allowing a waiver of a requirement of the subdivision control ordinance. But again, my reading of the statute does not allow for that unless there is a specific local enabling legislation to provide for that. So that's my comment at this stage.
Anybody else? All right, there's a valid request for continuance on this matter. The next meeting date is August 21st. So is there a motion to continue this matter?
I move the docket number 2023-28-Z, a petition for a zone map change to rezone 349 plus or minus acres consisting of 9 parcels from the rural general agricultural AG, rural single family residential R1, and rural single and 2-family residential R2 districts, and within the rural Michigan Road overlay to the planned unit development PUD district, with the recommendation being certified to the town council for adoption or rejection, be continued to the August 21st, 2023 Plan Commission meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. This petition is continued to next month, and I look forward to seeing you all next month. So I'm sure you will. Thank you very much. All right, new business, docket numbers. Can I ask that people vacate and talk outside so we can continue business, please? All right, we'll get moving on to the next docket items, 2023-21 DPA and 2023-22 DPA. Both for Don Till Daycare, toddler expansion and nursery expansion, 11702 North Michigan Road, Zionsville, and 11706 North Michigan Road, Zionsville. First one, petition for approval of development plan amendment for a 360 square foot building addition to the existing toddler daycare facility at the urban neighborhood B1 district and within the urban Michigan Road overlay. And 22 DPA is petition for approval of development plan amendment for a 1,418 square foot building addition to the existing nursery area of the daycare facility in the urban neighborhood B1 district and within the urban Michigan Road overlay. Roger, you're handling these?
Yes, sir.
Got it right this time.
If I could have the screen up, please. Thank you. Mr. Franz mentioned we have 2 kind of sister petitions. They're not companion because they do stand on their own, but I'll begin first with petition 2023-21 DPA. We'll refer to this as the toddler expansion, which is property. Let me see. It's not connected to my laptop. That's now. On the screen is a location map showing the subject site of the project 21 DPA, the toddler expansion. As you'll see, along the east side of the site is Michigan Road or 421. Immediately to the north of this subject site will be the site of the nursery expansion. But moving on to the zoning map, the subject site is zoned urban neighborhood business, which is B1, and within the urban Michigan Road overlay district, bordered on the west by urban residential RSFF2 districts, which is all the green area, on the east by Michigan Road, and on the other side of Michigan Road by the urban B1 district and BO parcels, also within the Michigan Road overlay. To the north and south of the site are other B1 districts, also within the Michigan Road overlay. Project description, again, this drawing, while showing both facilities, I'm going to focus on the southern portion, and I have graded in the portion of the existing building, and the area that is crosshatched in yellow is the proposed addition. It's located to the west or rear of the existing structure. A new landing and steps will be constructed from the east facade of the existing structure. Additionally, a new ADA ramp will extend from the south and west facades to serve the building's addition. The additional facade is intended to match the existing structure. Yellow. Sorry, there we go.
Are you seeing on that screen what you think you're seeing?
Wow, it's taking a while.
Okay. You're just talking about colors and we don't have any colors
Yeah.
there. So
We've got a significant delay going on between what I've got and what it has. There we go.
Give it a minute.
There we go. Is that what we're supposed to be seeing?
Okay, I'm gonna back up. Okay, there we go. How
All
about
right.
we go back to this? Again, this drawing is showing both sites. Again, the south for the toddler expansion. Then the north will cover in a little bit for the nursery expansion. But again, staying focused here on the southern site, the building, the existing building is in gray, and the proposed addition is highlighted in yellow. Let's see if I can move on. There we go. Good. Okay. The addition's facades are intended to match the existing structure. Yellow vinyl Dutch lap siding with white metal coping and vinyl trim, and matching driftwood architectural shingles are proposed. Carriage light is proposed next to the doors of the existing structure and the addition. A floodlight will be installed in the peak of the addition. Moving on to the landscape plan. It includes existing and proposed plantings. As reflected in the staff comment letter, foundation plantings are required. The petitioner has already submitted new plans that will satisfy staff comment letters contained within the staff report. Access to the site will be from Michigan Road, and that remains the same. Parking requirements have been reviewed and are compliant. Regarding topics of interest, the petitioner has already resubmitted plans to address staff's comments, most specifically the landscaping and lighting plans. At the time of the writing of this report, those plans are under review. Staff will continue. Staff is comfortable that all comments will be satisfied with its resubmittal. Staff's position is favorable to a conditional approval of the development plan amendment for a 360 square foot building addition to the existing toddler daycare facility, subject to resolution of comments within the attached engineer's comment letter. So now I would like to move over to the nursery expansion. Great. Okay. Again, as mentioned earlier, this subject side of the nursery expansion is immediately to the north of the previous project. The zoning is the same as was previously mentioned. Here you can see, again, the grayed area is the existing structure, and the yellow area is the approximately 1,418 square foot building addition to the existing nursery area. An existing ramp and structure west of the proposed addition will be demolished to provide for the location of the addition and ramp and stairs. The addition's facade to the colorless. There we go. The addition's facade is intended to match the existing structure, again with the yellow vinyl deck lap siding and white metal coping. A carriage light is also proposed next to the doors of the western elevation of the addition. Landscaping plan provided includes existing and proposed plantings. Parking requirements have been reviewed and are compliant. As mentioned with the other petitioner has already resubmitted plans to address the staff's comments, most specifically the landscaping and lighting plans. Staff is comfortable that all comments will be satisfied with this resubmittal. Staff's position is favorable to the conditional approval of the development plan amendment for 1,418 square foot building addition, subject to the resolution of comments within the attached engineer's comment letter. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
All right, thank you. Is the petitioner present on this one?
Good evening. My name is Jerry Williams. I'm with Engineering Construction Services representing Dawn Till Dusk. And Roger did a great job, so I've got nothing else to add.
Okay, all right. That makes it easier. So, all right, at this point, is there any questions, comments from any members of the Plan Commission? If there is not, are there motions on these matters? We'll take individual motions for each one. Oh, my mistake. Is there anybody from the public that likes to speak on this matter? All right. You do. I've officially asked, so now we can move on.
I move the petition number 2023-21-DPA Development Plan Amendment for a 360 square foot building addition to the existing toddler daycare facility in the urban neighborhood business B-1 district and the urban Michigan Road Overlay District. Be conditionally approved as presented and noted in the staff report based upon the findings of fact and subject to resolution of comments within the attached engineer's comment letter, Exhibit 5A.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. That motion is approved 7-0.
I move the petition 2023-22-DPA Development Plan Amendment for a 1,418 square foot building addition to the existing nursery area of the daycare facility in the urban neighborhood business B-1 district and within the urban Michigan Road Overlay District be conditionally approved as presented and noted in the staff report based upon the findings of fact and subject to a resolution of comments within the attached engineer's comment letter, Exhibit 5A.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed by nay. That motion carries also 7-0. Thank you very much. Next item on the docket is 2023-23 DPA. Nicholson Orthodontics facade change, 95 East Oak Street, Zionsville, petition for approval of development plan amendment to permit facade change in the urban village business district BBD. Roger, you're handling this one also, correct?
Yes, sir.
That's all right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
As mentioned, this is a DPA for Nicholson Orthodontics. The aerial photo that I have up on the screen for you is unfortunately a little dated because it does not show the addition that has already occurred to the Nicholson Orthodontics building. But what is being requested tonight is a slight change to what was previously approved. There is a small facade change and a minor expansion of the building's footprint. You'll see here on the aerial photo, it's a corner lot on Oak and Elm. Going to move forward to the zoning map, the subject site, as well as all the parcels nearby surrounding it are zoned VBD, Village Business District. This is an exhibit that we've put together to demonstrate what was approved. On the left side of the screen is the site plan that was approved through the development plan petition. And on the right side is the DPA proposed. I've circled in this red circle as to the area impacted. And what they are wanting to do is there is a small area that they needed to add, and I'll go to the building elevation, which shows this a little bit better. Here we've got again, on the bottom is the proposed elevation. Up above is what was approved at the previous development plan approval. They're wanting to add a small wing next to the entry door, and which will allow access into the lower floor through this entry door. By adding that small addition, it impacts a window off to the left side of the entry area, as well as changing the two windows on the right side of the entry area. We've commented to the petitioner, this might qualify as the smallest DPA request in the town's history at being less than 20 square feet. But according to the ordinance, we had to go through this process. Staff is supportive of the development plan amendment, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you might have.
All right, thank you. Petitioner, like to state your name, address, if you have anything to say.
Paul Kite, Strongbox Commercial, 65 East Cedar, and happy to answer any questions.
All right, anybody in the public like to comment on this matter? Any questions from any members of the Plan Commission?
Yeah, I've got sort of a question. This building was approved with a variance based on them providing additional off-site parking. I've read back through what we did when we granted the variance. Obviously, we need to, or I need to work on my motions, because I quizzed Roger about it earlier today, and the comment came back that they are in compliance with their variance because they are using the existing non-compliant area there on, what is the address, 85 Oak or whatever.
The address I don't have.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Is it down the hill?
Correct. It's gravel. It isn't suitable for the amount of vehicles that are supposed to be there. It's not accessible by any normal means and methods. I also spent a little quality time as it rained this afternoon driving around the village. And, you know, we're doing a pretty good job of overrunning our storm and sanitary sewer. It's always interesting when you see water coming out of the storm and sanitary system than going in. And, you know, it's petty, but I did get a certain degree of satisfaction that the properties that I had voted against sitting in the bottom of a pretty good sized pond of water. My point of all this is, if we are not going to start to put some teeth into the variances we grant and make sure that when we make a statement that a development has adequate parking and drainage, at some point it will come to bear. I don't think I was particularly satisfied with the answers I got when this first thing went through. And at some point, you know, we got to put a stop to it, but maybe we don't. Maybe it just don't matter.
I think parking matters, as we all know. So,
but if the town is not going to put any teeth into enforcing, then we might as well just snicker at everybody when they complain. When they complain about traffic, when they complain about schools, we ought to just smile and chuckle because we're not doing anything.
all right. That was more of a comment, not a question, I think. So
I think so. Yes.
All right, any other comments? If not, is there a motion on this matter?
I move that docket number 2023-23-DPA approval of a development plan amendment for a 20 plus or minus square foot building addition to an existing structure in the Village Business District VBD be approved based on the findings in the staff report and the staff recommendations, submitted findings of fact. I guess that's it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion, comments? All in favor, signify by aye. Aye. Opposed by nay.
Nay.
This motion carries 6-1. So, all right. If there's a neighbor. Okay. All right. Okay. I have heard of it. But that's fine. Okay. Or you just ask Mr. Mike, did you vote yay or Jim? Jim, did you vote yay or nay on this one?
I voted yay.
Okay, thank you for confirming. All right, next on the docket, 2023-25 DP. EJC 6400 LLC Flex Office Building in Northwest Tech Center, 6400 Technology Center Drive. Additional approval of development plan for a flex office building being in the rural light industrial I-1 rural districts. Roger, you got all of that, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Again, we're before you is a petition for approval of the development plan for a 40,000 square foot flex office building in the Northwest Technology Center. Subject site is shown on the aerial map in front of you. It's outlined in black. It is located on the northwest corner of 96th and Technology Drive. The zoning map shows that the subject site is zoned rural light industrial I-1. It's bordered on the east by Technology Center Drive, and on the opposite side of that are other I-1 zone properties. To the south is bordered by West 96th Street, which adjoins parcels within the city of Indianapolis's jurisdiction. On the west by an existing commercial office structure that is also zoned I-1. And then to the north, an existing office and commercial medical clinic, which is also zoned rural I-1. Looking at the site plan, the site is accessible through 2 points from Technology Center Drive. You have one at this location and then one up along the northern edge of it. The drive aisle around the proposed structure has been reviewed for full access by the fire marshal, whose comment letter indicates no further concerns at this time. Parking is provided with 22 existing spaces provided and 56 proposed, with an additional 4 spaces designated as ADA compliant. Petitioner is committed to providing and recording a pathway easement. I'll bring this exhibit up that has different areas highlighted. I'll clarify that in a moment. Recording of a pathway easement to allow for pathway installation. At such a time, pathway may be extended to the edge of the property by other projects. That area would be here along the south edge of the site, highlighted in green. The subject site share an existing drive, which is located on the north of the proposed developments from Technology Center Drive to the west of the site. The petitioner is also committed to provide an access easement allowing for perpetual access for the existing business to the west. The petitioner will provide this access easement for staff and Plan Commission Council's review prior to recordation. The yellow area is the proposed access easement coming over to the existing structure here to the west of the site. The proposed improvements utilize a variety of material textures and colors. Utilization of EFS and storefront facade will be designed on the east facade elevation and proposes to use 4 colors interchangeably with 2 colors for the 7 storefronts. Again, this being the east elevation that is on the screen. The color and material samples are here to the left. Moving forward, we'll go to the west elevation, which shows a number of overhead doors and trash enclosures. The trash enclosure materials are similar to those of the building itself. These are the north and south elevations of the proposed structure. The proposed landscaping plan reflected here is compliant with the requirements. Additionally, plantings not required but offered are foundation plantings along the east and south sides of the building. Again, along the east and south sides of the building. And a 24-inch tall hedgerow for parking lot perimeter screening along through this area. The proposed lighting plans include utilization of an existing light pole and on the northwest side of the parcel and installation of another 20-foot tall pole on the east side of the building. Recessed entry lighting is proposed for the east side of the building, and wall packs and flood lighting are proposed on the west side of the building. Staff's position is favorable to the conditional approval of the petition for development plan for a flex office building, subject to resolution of comments within the attached comment letters. Glad to answer any questions you might have.
All right, thank you, Roger. At this point, is the petitioner present?
Okay, thanks, Roger. Thanks, everybody. My name is John Viverberg. I'm with EJC 6400. We're the petitioner. I'd like to introduce you to Landworks Engineering. This is John Schuyler, and then my architect, Jeremy Stewart, over there. So I guess I'll just give you a quick, brief introduction and then open it up for questions. Browning originally planned a sister building to the building to the west of us. And so basically what we're trying to do was just copy what they were originally going to do 20 years ago. This development will be an owner-occupied building comprised of Cambry builders and stone artisans. We have a signed LOI also from Elemental Graphics, who's a supplier during the month of May for IndyCar. And they do vehicle graphics also through the other 11 months of the year. Cambry Builders is currently, that's my company, and you'll have to forgive me, I'm not a very good speaker. Cambry Builders is a general contractor, we're a commercial general contractor, and we will be an owner occupant. So we'll take up a certain portion of the building. Stone Artisans will also be is a partner in EJC. They'll take up the majority of the remaining portion. And they are also operating in Park 100 right now. So, and Elemental Graphics is our neighbor. And so we're all going to pick up and move Park 100 to Zionsville. I personally believe the proposed building is a beautiful building that fits right in with the permitted use and will only enhance the park in Zionsville as a whole. And selfishly, as a Zionsville resident, I'm looking forward to moving our corporate office to Zionsville and shortening my morning commute to under 5 minutes.
All right. Would there be anybody in the public who'd like to comment on this matter? If not, is there anybody in the Plan Commission that has any questions, comments?
I have one concern. How do you get a semi in there behind the building? Because you're going to need to. And if you can get it in there, I don't see any way you can get it out.
Address that?
I mean, there's no truck turn on here, which I'm very familiar with, but so I don't see a way back out.
I will say the majority of our deliveries, Stone Artisans deliveries and Elementos. So I'll start with us. Our deliveries are usually short bed trucks. Stone Artisans are only short bed trucks, and Elemento is usually just FedEx trucks and UPS trucks.
Yeah. We just have to look at the full use of the facility.
Understood.
Across you and other residents. And I mean, I get something shipped to my house LTD and it comes on a 53-foot semi and it's a 14-foot long box. So.
Well,
Hi, I'm John Scheidler, the civil engineer with Landworks. We have looked at the truck traffic with the owner, and the spaces at the back, the trucks will not be backing up to a dock. They'll be running north-south. And we've run the truck turn and realized that or worked it out so it will be able to get in and out sufficiently.
You can get a semi back out through that eastern entrance because that's how they're going to have to go out.
Yeah, we've looked at it, and I didn't bring a exhibit showing that, but.
Okay. my big concern is it sucks to go into developments like this and the first 8 foot next to a curb is a big mud ditch because every truck that goes to make that turn goes up over the curb because the radius wasn't great enough. And on that eastern entrance, I don't see anything great enough to allow a semi to get through there. I'll take your word for it, but I have serious questions as to whether or not that's maneuverable by a semi.
I guess to clarify, the eastern entrance there midway down the building on the east side, that was not planned for truck traffic.
How did they get out then?
They can come in and out through the north entrance.
They can't come in and out. You're saying a semi is going to make more than a 90-degree turn out that north entrance because there's not enough room to do a turn in the back where the parking is. So he's got to somehow come in the north, across the north side of the building, down the west, and he's got to come back around the south and back out. And so he either goes out the east or he goes up the north and makes more than almost a
Yeah, but that entrance is
full U-turn.
wider than a typical entrance, and we ran auto turn on that.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments?
Does staff have any concern?
Fire department has no concerns and they did look at that.
Okay. I think it would be helpful to see truck turn and any submissions if we can request that from folks, just as a verification. As an architect, I'm guilty of that. I have projects that I've seen our civil engineers, yeah, it's gonna work. And I go out there the first day, furniture truck showed up and rutted up all the radiuses. So I'm speaking from experience. I just hope that doesn't happen to you guys.
All right. No further questions, comments? Is there a motion on this matter?
I was going to say, speaking from experience, no matter how wide you make the opening, the truckers will still have the corner.
That's true. I mean,
All right.
yeah, I mean, what seems to work on truck turn in real life just seems to never materialize. Call it bad driving or bad calculation. I don't know.
Confirmed, but I thought I asked for public comment on this matter. I did. So, okay, all right. All right, so is there a motion on this matter?
I move the petition number 2023-25-DP developmental plan petition for approval of a development plan for a 40 plus or minus square foot flex office building being in the rural light industrial I-1 rural district B, conditionally approved based upon the findings of fact as presented with conditions as noted in the staff report and subject to resolution of comments within the attached comment letters.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, I guess because we do have Jim remotely, he should be doing a roll call. So Mike, would you please take roll?
Larry Jones,
Yes.
Cindy Madrick,
Yes.
Chris Lake,
Yes.
Mary Grabanowski,
Yes.
Dave France,
Yeah.
Jim Hurst,
Yes.
Sharon Walker.
Yes.
All right, that motion carries 7-0. Thank you very much. Last item on the docket tonight is 2023-260P Crew Car Wash Facility, 6419 East Whitestown Parkway. This for development plan approval of a car wash located in the rural general business GB district and within the I-65 overlay. Roger?
Thank you. On the screen, I have the aerial location map for you, identifying the subject area. As mentioned, it is on the south side of Whitestown Parkway, bordered on the east by, to the north of Whitestown Parkway. That road is known as Main Street. To the south along the eastern edge of the site, it is Royal Run Boulevard. The site that is outlined in black is what I refer to as the leasehold parcel within the staff report. It is approximately 8.10 acres and is under a long-term lease by Crew Car Wash to develop it as one piece. The owner of that leasehold parcel owns the parcel immediately to the south, and that is their residence. So we've got a neighbor that is working together with the proposed developer. Moving forward onto the zoning map, the site is within the I-65 overlay, which is identified by the crosshatched red area. The underlying zoning of that is GB Rural General Business District. This depiction of the, again, the leasehold site comes all the way down to the south here and goes up to the north, and the subject site for the crew car wash development is this northern approximately between 2.5 to 3 acres on the north end. The proposed car wash facility consists of 2 buildings, a car wash building, which you're used to seeing from crew car wash, and a new interior car wash building built immediately to the west of that over in this area. Also included are vacuum bays, stacking lanes for access into the car wash building, and an employee parking area located here on the far western side of the site. Just to the south of that employee parking area are trash enclosure with also storage area. The car wash building, zoom in a little bit tighter here. Car wash building is approximately 5,700 square feet located on the eastern half of the subject site. A separate canopy is to be located east of the car wash building. An interior car wash building of approximately 4,700 square feet is located in the western half of the subject site. Located between the 2 buildings is a lane of vacuum bays in this area. And again, the staff parking area and trash and storage enclosure here to the lower left. There are a couple of topics of interest that I want to bring out for your consideration. First being the development of this east-west road. It would be a private road located on an access easement. Even though the town's DPW has requested and Boone County Highway Department initially requested this be developed and dedicated as a public right of way, that would require then essentially the subdivision of the site to dedicate that, and the landowner, being the leasehold owner, does not want to split the site. And factually stated, for car wash said, if we have to dedicate that road, it's a deal killer. So they have provided an access easement, which we're going to have council review. I know that DPW has already reviewed it and said they're fine with it as long as council is fine with it. Requested comment back from Boone County Highway Department and also the town of Whitestown, because this is still out in their area, but I have not received word back from them yet. But the initial discussions were that if we could work it out as an easement, they would be accepting to that. But again, I still need to confirm that with them, and also have council confirm that the easement language is acceptable. The second item that I wanted to bring your attention to comes down to signage on the buildings. We get to building elevations. Here we go. Detailed signage drawings have been submitted for review and include monument signs, wall signs, and directional signs. The proposed sign package, though, is not compliant with the zoning ordinance, as the proposed sign package exceeds the number of permitted signs on the site and also the amount of signage area. Therefore, the signage for this project should not be included within a development plan approval. The petitioner will be required to either submit a compliant sign package through the sign improvement location permit process or request a variance of development standards from the Board of Zoning Appeals. Just to be clear, should you take action on the development plan tonight, your motion, and I've already written it into the proposed motion, should not include signage for this approval. The third item is the I-65 overlay architectural requirements for entry areas. And specifically, I'm referring to this doorway, and I believe it's this, I'm sorry, I have wrong doorways up. Here we go. These two doors and this door. They require some enhanced features to meet the I-65 overlay architectural requirement. They're very close already. We've had a chance to discuss this with the architect, and they are going to be resubmitting drawings to match and comply with the I-65. That will simply, it could be as simple as the inclusion of lintels above the doors. They could also, the canopies that are shown over many of the windows here, those could be applied above the door entries and serve to meet that standard as well. So those revised elevations will be submitted. Staff's position is favorable to a conditional approval of the development plan approval, again, not including signage of the car wash facility, subject to resolution of the comments contained within the comment letters, exhibits 6A through 6D, compliant I-65 building elevations, and the recording of the proposed access easement once it has been approved. Be glad to answer any questions you might have.
All right, thank you. Is the petitioner present?
Good evening. My name is Mike Timko. I'm with Kimley Horn, civil engineer, and I also have Travis Smith with me here this evening from Crew Car Wash as well. Roger did a great job of summarizing the key highlights. So I was just going to reiterate and maybe address how we plan to accommodate a few of the outstanding comments as well. One thing I did want to point out on the site plan is that the detention pond shown in the southwest corner, that was a master plan detention pond for the future development south of the Crew Car Wash as well. So wanted to make sure that everyone knew that. And then we did receive Boone County drainage approval as of this morning as well. So we're one step closer for that process. As Roger mentioned, we have requested to do an access easement in lieu of dedicating that to public right of way. The one other thing I wanted to make sure that the Plan Commission understood was that Crew has committed to still build that road to the standards of a public right of way as far as pavement section and width goes. So this wasn't a matter of trying to take a shortcut of having a private road versus a public road. We still intend to design and build that to a public road standard. It would just live within an access easement. We did complete a traffic study as a part of the project. So some of the other improvements you'll see along Royal Run Boulevard on the site plan are a designated right turn lane coming into that private access drive. And then per Whitestown DPW's request, there will also be an addition of a designated northbound turn lane from Royal Run Boulevard onto Whitestown Parkway. So that'll certainly help alleviate some of the existing traffic concerns in the area, but then obviously the additional traffic that'll be generated from the Crew Car Wash and then hopefully the future commercial development to the south. As Roger mentioned, we've been working with staff when it comes to the building elevation revisions that still need to occur. After talking with the architect this morning, it is their intent to show those the overhang canopies similar to what's shown over the windows over those entries as well to create a cohesive look across the face of the building and also meet the overlay. And then as far as the revised sign package goes, and talking with Crew and their sign vendor, they have every intent of submitting a compliant signage plan, and we'll work with staff as that goes forward. But otherwise, we're happy to answer any questions.
All right, thank you. Anybody from the public who'd like to comment on this matter? I'll throw it open to the members of the Plan Commission. Any questions, comments?
I have a question. I'm not as good at reading as Chris is and Larry down there. Show me the road. Where is that going to go?
Sure. So it's actually the curvature going through the center of the site there. Yeah, the Rogers cursor is following it very well on the screen right now. And so basically that'll connect from behind the tire store that's to the west of us.
I need it because I'm following all that, but I wanted to know where that went.
Yes, so it'll connect on both the west end and then it'll line up with the road that goes south of the CVS on the other side of Royal Run Boulevard. So that'll
that way all the time and I'm going. All right, where's
it'll connect that gap.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
So Roger, just to confirm, so if we approve this and then they come in with a compliant sign package, there really is no need for any other. So you were making the statement you were making about that currently what is being shown, the sign package is non-compliant. So in any motion, would we have to cite that?
I have drafted a motion where it clearly states that you are not including the signs as part of this DP approval.
But if they come back with a compliant sign package, does that have to come before us, or can we bake that into the motion?
It's just permitting.
Okay, all right.
Signage is not in your motion.
Well, it says not including signage in the motion. And it's there at the very,
All right, so if they do come back with compliant signage, then the staff can take care of that.
Right.
Okay.
so even though the motion says not including signage.
Where are you seeing that? Because mine does not say anything about not including signage. Yeah, mine doesn't either.
Oh,
We can't, yeah, the record and the motion was not. Oh, well, maybe that's.
Yeah.
that different?
Oh, up in the top part. Okay, I was looking at the conditions
Sorry.
down below. Sorry, my bad.
Um,
Because all your other stuff were in the conditions. And so I was reading the conditions section. I was like, there's nothing about signage.
second question on the site plan, I just for clarity, what's going on with the roads around the interior car wash area?
Are you talking particularly at the north end?
Correct.
Yeah, so one of the comments that we received from the fire department was to have a looped drive that goes around. And so what you're seeing there is a few removable bollards that would be accessible to the fire department to remove in a case of emergency. But basically, they didn't want to have what we had shown on the original site plan, which was dead end drive aisles for the employee parking and the vacuum stalls. So as a means of addressing their concerns about having a fire truck move through, that was the solution.
And then finally, what exactly is interior car wash?
So the interior cleaning.
You need to speak. You gotta come out, state your name and address.
Yep, so I've literally seen people do this all night. Travis Smith, I'm the director of real estate for Car Wash. If you go to Hamilton Town Center or our location over in Avon, you, just like you see, you would pull your car up to the north end of the building and pull in. There is a conveyor belt that is 12 feet wide that you drive your car onto, put it in park. The conveyor belt moves along very slowly. You get out of the car, walk alongside, drink coffee while they clean the interior of your car. And it's a continually moving process. You literally just walk down alongside of it. When it gets to the end, the interior of your car is clean. You get back in, drive away. It's really cool. Yes, it is. It is. When I tell people what I do for a living, the number one complaint I get is that there aren't enough of these. Yeah.
I grew up with Blue Co car wash, where my mother would get out of the car and walk in and pay. And then the kids, we sat in the back of the station wagon, because the greatest thing is with all the guys that got in at the end to clean the inside of it. You know, I was easily entertained. Still am, but you know.
Any other questions?
Not a question. I mean, I appreciate the fire comment. I don't know of a single fire crew that's going to stop and remove those bollards. They're going to park out on Whitestown Parkway if they have to reach the north end of that building. So I appreciate that you're following the comments that you're getting from the fire department, and they do a great job, but it's pretty impractical to assume that that fire truck's going to pull up there and they're going to remove 4 bollards, because they're probably locked in place, so the people just can't remove them at will. And then they're going to pull their fire truck 30 more feet and fight a fire. So I appreciate that you're doing that, and thank you for following their comments. I don't know what role we then have to ask the fire department, is that really a practical solution? Because it doesn't seem like a practical solution.
We will make sure that your comment is shared with.
It's a solution in search of a problem.
Just hope you never have a fire at your house.
My son set off the smoke detector and they were there in quick order. So, and I appreciate their service.
Any other questions, comments? I just love the look.
Yeah, so if the town council does not approve this road as an access or as an easement, then the landowner would have to plat the property. Is that correct?
So this would not be going before the town council.
I thought you said the DPW was said it's okay with the town council, that's okay with DPW.
I'm sorry, Plan Commission's council.
Yeah, that's right.
Not the town council.
Oh,
Plan Commission's council.
okay. Thank you.
And you're okay with it?
I'll review it.
Okay. Okay, all right. Oh, that's right.
I'm okay with the concept of
Yeah,
it.
okay.
There'll be a document
Okay.
or two.
All right, those are all the subject twos and conditionals and all that stuff. So, all right. Is there a motion on this matter?
Sure. I move the petition 2025-26 DP development plan approval of a car wash facility on 2.5 acre site, not including signage, be in the rural general business GB District B conditionally approved based on the findings of fact and presented with the conditions as noted in the staff report and subject to the resolution of the comments within the attached comment letters, exhibit 6A through 6D, and the recording of the proposed access agreement.
Is there a second?
Second,
Second.
very strongly.
Any further discussion?
Just one quick question. So is the 2.5 acres the entire site?
No, it's just this portion being developed.
It's just the
I believe it
portion,
was an
8.1 acres.
basically what's north of the drive. Okay.
So it's just what they're developing. Okay. Got it. All right, any other questions, comments? If not, Mike, would you please take roll?
Sharon Walker,
Yes.
Jim Hurst,
Yes.
David Franz,
Yes.
Mary Grabanowski,
Yes.
Chris Lake,
Yes.
Cindy Madrick,
Yes.
Larry Jones.
Yes.
All right, motion is approved. So when it
Thank you very
goes
much.
through the interior, the hoses that they're vacuuming just move with it too?
Yeah, so the hoses actually run on a rail system that goes along with the car the whole way. So like there'll be a section of vacuums for carpets. They're especially for carpets, then for specialty for like by the cup holders in your gear selector. And they just kind of roll with till it's kind of like an assembly line where everything just moves.
What about my truck? Wait a minute.
Subaru plant.
I'm sorry,
Have you ever toured the Subaru plant?
in Lafayette? No,
It's awesome.
Mike doesn't let me out very often.
Oh, it's awesome.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, what about my truck if I've been picking up mulch and the bed's full?
Oh, my word, no, they're like this big.
Don't go.
Well, I'm gonna get my truck bed cleaned out.
You said it's full of them.
All right, is there any other business other than the fact that next Wednesday,
Yeah.
we have the follow-up meeting on the form-based code. It's another informational meeting. There will be no hearing at that time, but it's for more information.
That's the 26th.
26.
It's next Wednesday, 6:30, 26th.
So I have two quick items real quick.
Sure.
And I didn't think of it at the time, but is it possible to get the airport no build overlay put on top of the Bradley Ridge plan? Have the petitioner do that to show where that's at?
Yeah, I thought on one of them, it did show the overlay, I thought.
It was okay, but it wasn't.
Well, and I missed it if it was on there.
It is a drawing that I provided, but it did not have the overlay.
Yeah, I want to see their road structure under it
Yeah.
because it involves, building houses potentially within that zone. The second one, and this was something Larry brought up. And I get it was through a variance process that we granted. But in one of the projects that involved that parking lot at the bottom of that hill, there was I thought a commitment to pave that and make that accessible. As in wheelchair accessible from not gravel. And tied to one of the myriad of projects that all say they're sharing those spots. So I think the town needs to figure out, was that in fact a commitment? And if so, when and how is that going to be done? Because it hasn't been done. But I swear one of the,
I agree as well. That's what I was hunting for.
Yeah.
I thought that was supposed to be the developed parking lot.
I think somewhere it was required that, hey, we get it, that you're gonna let people all use this stuff, but that parking lot does not meet our parking lot standards. And in fact, is not even accessible with a wheelchair. And so I thought that was going to be upgraded.
I will go back and listen to the minutes of the meeting to see if,
Okay.
because as you're pointing out, there were multiple meetings.
It might have been Cohatch versus Nichols.
Because there were multiple users of that lot.
Yeah,
And many of the users were involved in both BZA and planning commission.
yeah. So,
I will search.
okay.
The various minutes.
Cohas had the least space, right? Isn't that?
Yeah. Yeah, but my memory is recalling that somebody committed to paving that with striped lines and, somebody could get out of the car with a wheelchair and be able to, I don't know how they're gonna get up the hill, but they could.
The difference is Cohas was kind of granted like a mile radius of assignment parking.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
But with Nicholson, he's providing 4 spaces and needs 15, it was very definite that but somewhere in the process, I thought we did, with the commitment that it was going to become a parking lot.
Yeah,
Not,
not a gravel area that could support parking.
and what was it, you sent me the letter, I forgot to bring the letter with me or print it off, that you sent me with the non-conforming, compliant, non-conforming lot or.
Legally non-conforming lot, it's been deemed that.
But
I
how
thought we
many
got a
space-
commitment though, as part of that, because we had a
Right.
whole,
and how many spaces
Heated
was it
conversation.
deemed to have?
Um,
Yeah, that's the issue.
is, I believe, up to 28, I believe.
Mini Coopers stacked on top of each other.
I've never been down there.
Sorry, that just, that your comment brought that up, and I just want to make sure that
That's
as
right.
we're getting these commitments, that we're verifying that they're followed up on.
All right. So anything else?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Jim, we put you down as an aye on that one.
Yeah, I was an aye.
We should get Andrew to-
Good night.
Hope you're feeling better, Jim.
Thanks, Mary. Take care, guys.
Right, so here's